Hello friends, this video is actually for our kindergarten through 4th grade this week because you guys are all doing the same thing this week. It's just kind of how it worked out. So I figured I would just make one video. So this month we are learning all about the life app of grit, refusing to give up when life gets hard. And our memory verse says, "Let us not become tired of doing good. At the right time we will gather a crop if we don't give up." Galatians 6:9. So this week, going through our timeline here. Change that, sorry. So we started with creation, we had the fall with Adam and Eve, and then God makes a covenant with Abraham. Abraham has his son Isaac. Isaac has Jacob and Esau, and Jacob has 12 sons, Joseph being his 11th son. Earlier in the month, we learned how Joseph saved his entire family when Egypt had a famine. And then all of the Israelites moved to Egypt. Well, now we are fast forwarding quite a few generations, and there are tons of Israelites. So the Pharaoh has put the Israelites into slavery in Egypt. Well, at this point, Moses is born, and in order to save Moses' life, last week we learned that his mother put him in a basket and sent him down the Nile River, and he was actually saved by Pharaoh's daughter and raised in the palace. Well, if you've ever seen the kids' movie, The King of Egypt, is that what it's called? Prince of Egypt. Moses kills an Egyptian man who was abusing an Israelite, and he runs away to the desert. Well, now God is calling to Moses through a burning bush this week and calling him to return to Egypt to free the Israelite people. So that's where we pick up. In week 4, we discover God's plan for rescuing the Israelites. In Exodus, we see how God's plan started. Moses was watching sheep on the side of a mountain and saw a bush on fire, but it wasn't burning up. Now that alone might make someone a little nervous, but then Moses heard the voice of God. God asked Moses to go up against the most powerful ruler of his time to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites free from their enslavement. This incredible story shows how Moses trusted God and never gave up. God's people saw God show up in amazing ways, all to rescue them. So our bottom line, hold on, because God knows what you're going through. In this story, we see how God saw, heard, and did something about what was happening to the Israelites. God sees, hears, and has the power to take care of what we're going through too. We can find comfort in knowing that the God of the universe knows our circumstances and is helping us get through them. We can trust God no matter what. Friends, just prepping for this week, that has spoken to me, and in hearing some of your prayer requests the past few weeks, I know that this is not just an important message for our kids, but for all of us as leaders too. So jumping into our leader guide, we would love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage room for coffee and donuts and prayer. I am always at the 8:20 prayer time, rarely at the 10:20 prayer time, but I just love being at that prayer time in the morning, man. It is just such a great way to start off my Sunday morning. Then just make sure that you're to your small group by 8:30 and 10:30 so that you're ready to roll when kids start to come in at 8:40 and 10:40. As kids check in, they can play with toys. This week we've got our coloring sheet that says, "Hold on," because God knows what you are going through. Then when service starts at 9 and 11, you can play a little animal charades. All the different animals are in this brown bag at the bottom of your cart. Kids can take turns picking an animal and acting it out. If you run out, you can just make some up on your own. Then at 9, 10, and 11 and 10, you're going to head across the hall to large group to hear what the story is about this week. When you get back from large group, while kids are eating this snack, you're going to use this little conversation guide to lead kids in prayer, just saying that Moses held on because he knew that God knew what he was going through, and he knew that God had seen him and that God was with him. And just like God is with Moses, God's with you too. He never meant for us to keep going on his own. God gave us Jesus to walk with us, and when we put our trust in Jesus, the Holy Spirit gives us the power to keep going. And I don't know about you, but that was something I really needed to hear this week. And then you can read this prayer. You can close in your own prayer. And obviously, I think it's great, especially for our older kids, if you write down any prayer requests that they have for the week. Then you can go over the memory verse, show kids how to look it up in their Bibles, maybe challenge them to look it up in their Bibles, see if anyone wants to do that. And then just practice it with the motions. And then you can have kids sit in a circle and see if they can pass the verse. So you would just say, like, let us not become, they would just each take one word going around the circle, and maybe you can even time them and see how fast they can get around the circle doing it. And then you can just close that memory verse time by saying something like, when tiredness and loneliness come to you, just remember our verse. Following Jesus and doing what's right is worth it in the long run, even if it's difficult. When do you feel the most tired of doing good? Maybe when they don't get a reward, or when they've been doing it for a long time, or when they are tired. Well, one wise choice or action costs very little, but when you do them over and over and over again, they start to add up. I feel tired of doing good sometimes too. Did you know that Jesus felt this way? In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus asked God if he could do the easier thing and not die to rescue us from sin. He was human as much as he was God, and as a human, he was tired and scared. But Jesus made the wisest choice, and he still went to the cross to rescue everyone. Even when it was hard and he was tired, he is our example, and he will help us. He will give us the strength we need to go on doing what's right. So, sorry, lots of typos today. Remember, when you're thinking of giving up doing good or taking the easy way out, you can hold on because God knows what you're going through. Again, that just really spoke to me this week, so I hope it does for some of you. Then finally, the last little game. I have the little paper that you're going to use for true or false questions up here on the cart. So you're just going to have kids line up on one side of the room, explain the rules. You're going to stand on the other side, and you're going to read aloud a statement from the Bible story. It's true or false, and then you're going to say, "Let my people go." If the story is true, the kids are going to take one step forward. If it's false, they'll stay where they are. If, oh my gosh, what was I thinking when I was typing? If it's true and they take, if they try to take a step on a false statement, they have to go back and start over, all the way back to the wall. If you say a false statement, ask the kids what the true statement would be from the Bible story. They also can't take a step forward until you say, "Let my people go." So if they take a step on a true statement before you say, "Let my people go," they have to go back to the wall and start over. The first kid to make it to you is a winner. If you don't get through all the statements in one round, you can go back and play again. And then you just close by saying something like, "Do you think it was easy or hard for Moses to do what God asked him? What made it so hard? How would you have reacted if God spoke to you through a burning bush? Would you have been scared?" And maybe huddle up, sit in a circle for this part, ask the kids some questions, and then say, "I would definitely be scared if a burning bush started talking to me. And if I had to face a powerful Pharaoh and ask him to stop doing the wrong things that he was doing, the things Moses faced were super hard, but he knew that he needed to do what God had asked him to do." So hold on, because God knows what you're going through. God knew what Moses was going through, and God knows what you're going through right now. So that is it. I definitely needed to hear this because sometimes I want to give up when things are hard, and I want to quit doing the good things that I know I should be doing, mostly out of selfishness and laziness, but sometimes because it's hard. And so this was great for me to hear as I was prepping it this week, and I hope it's great for you and definitely for our kids as well. Thank you guys for serving. You are all so amazing. I'm so grateful for you, and we'll see you on Sunday.